Yes, welcome to another huge edition of All In. This is week 3, boys. We are back bigger, stronger, better than ever. Hopefully, we'll steer the punters into a few winners this week. A couple that might even get over the finish line, unlike Mumbai Muse, unfortunately. But it is Blue Diamond Stakes Day down there at Caulfield, and this is where Lewie does his best work. What is it? Afternoon. Good afternoon, Lewis Willoughby.
Don't know what time it is, Gano. It's Monday at some stage. I've been
Pitch black
in
dark
Gosford.
outside.
Pitch black dark. I've been in Gosford all weekend for the Roosters trial. It could be Friday at 5 o'clock for all I know. Gee, I wish it was too. Good weekend of racing. I had to catch up a bit this morning and watch a bit of it because I didn't get too much of it on Saturday. And there are a few little excuses I found for a few of them, some not for others. Mumbai Muse, I was hoping to see something big come up in the Stewards report, and it was just nothing. They're going to keep looking, and I'm sure it was too bad to be true. It was pulled up. It was way too bad to be true. But Imperatriz was too good. Lots to get through, but I'm sure we'll get there.
Dino, good afternoon to you.
Fellas, yeah, big weekend, like Louis mentioned. Boy, it's not just probably the one of note as well. 1 out 5 lame and I'm unstoppable, slow to recover. They're probably the two that I found in the Stewards report. But big weekend, plenty of talking points. But the big show, which is racing, rolls on, boys. Blue Diamond, probably one of the best Blue Diamonds I've seen. I think the top 6 or 7 in the market are all really good horses. So good 2-year-old bunch. Keen to dissect that race.
Love that. And just a bit of a recap on what we saw on the weekend. You touched on Mumbai Muse, a horse that I was keen on. Looked like it was going to loom at the 300 and put them away and just started going backwards. So not sure what happens with it. But a horse to follow there, Duvana, for me in the first race. Wow, it was impressive. But we sent it out this morning on radio suggesting $21 or $17 was good price for it in the Champagne. I think it's a horse we need to follow, not just this preparation, but into the future. Looks very, very talented. Louis, you got any horses to follow?
Yep, I think Alentia was probably an obvious one for most. A little bit unlucky behind Samana, who's just gone to just keeps stepping up new levels to Samana. The one I really wanted to follow, again, another obvious one, Fangirl, but yeah, let's by the by. Espiona, who I thought was massive in the Black Caviar Lightning. I was saying this morning on Sky One, my hope for the preparation is that she would kind of steer away from things like the Newmarket and get out to a 14 to 1,500 metre distance and try and miss a lot of those top-line sprinters like Imperatriz and so on. Whether that happens, I don't know. But wherever she does go, I think she's going to be cherry ripe up to the mark. You know, Chris Waller not often has them up and flying first up. So if that was her not at 100%, it was a cracker run. Imperatriz, and think about it, settled 1-2 in run. She gave them a big start and flew home. So
you can't possibly, if you own that horse, you can't possibly steer away from the big races now. That was super.
Yeah. It's more stay to the big races, but get them over further distances rather than sticking to 1200s. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but she's flying.
Love it. Dino?
Yeah, plenty to cover. I thought Learning to Fly was terrific. I think she'll turn the tables on Kimochi with a better run in transit. Buckaroo was sneaky. I know you like militarised out of the Polo too. And one out of the other fillies race that we speak of was Steffi Magnetica, back from last, a run home, better than Tis Invincible. Similar to the horse that you just mentioned, Louis. Hopefully steers away from the big ones because I don't know if she can turn the tables on these. Hopefully goes back to a lesser race and we can get the chocolates. But they were the ones I want to follow. I know you had a couple.
Hasn't she had some bad luck, old Steffi, hey? Dead set.
Stable flying.
Yeah, stable's absolutely flying for sure. And Duvana was my top horse to follow. I'd stick with that. There's outside of the real obvious ones. Boys, ride of the week. I'm going to throw one at you right now. Chad Schofield was a losing ride, but on Learning to Fly. Wow, pretty good effort from on horse. It's a high profile horse. It's had its issues and was near favourite to do what he did. Took a lot of guts and full credit to Chad. Louis, anything?
I didn't mind Jay Colt, same racing with Kimochi. Found a bit of an awkward spot from Barrier 3, never panicked. Got off heels at a great time to expose her to win, so I thought that was a big win. And Damien Lane rode a 2-year-old in Flemington called Aardvark. Another one I spoke about. This was just the perfect example of how to properly handle a 2-year-old when things don't go to plan A, because if you start panicking, pushing up here, there, everywhere, they can all fall apart. Never panic. You missed the kick, brought it in behind bums. When there was no gap, he didn't start shifting in and out, just waited, knew a split would appear, push the button and won. It's pretty obvious to see why he is not just the best in Victoria at the moment, but easily one of the best we've got here in the country.
Dino, anything to add for Ride of the Week? Anything catch your eye?
No, I think you summed it up. Chad Schofield's probably the best losing ride you'll see. I thought J-Max ride on Redstone was terrific as well.
Didn't that hurt us? We booked it. We just wanted a bigger price. Drifts, we didn't back it. Just stupidity.
I wish he put in a stinker, to be honest.
Just overcomplicate the game, can't we? Fair income.
Yeah, you can. In run, I'm going, you can't lose. He's just nailed
it. Did my head in. Righto, let's have a look at the Blue Diamond Stakes. Lewie, got any profiles, anything you want to talk about, or you just want to dive straight in?
It just mentions the obvious form lines coming into this are the previews and the preludes. Not many who come through something else. Extreme Choice back in 2016 came through a chairman stake. Otherwise, Artorius was only through a 2-year-old open class race. But otherwise, it's the preludes and the previews. And as Dino mentioned off the top, last year, bit of an off year with the 2-year-olds. This year, it is a very, very, very strong field. Can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, Red Hot Common, $4.50, Bodyguard $5, Lady of Camelot 6, High Octane 7, Anisa 9, Stay Focused 13, and longer the rest, odds courtesy of Tab. Remember what you could be buying instead, gamble responsibly, etc., etc. Lewie, you've got the new ball. Take it away.
Perfect. I am going to stick with the ones I was with in the previews. I don't know why they are massive prices, and they are Kuro Yanagi and Matisse. I thought, albeit beaten by Hayasugi, I think it was, who was very good. I thought they were massive runs. This was in the Phillies prelude. Kuro Yanagi, massive chop out at the 200 metres, lost all momentum trying to sneak up the fence. Still had to pick up and just got nutted on the line behind a horse, the winner, Hayasugi, who had the momentum out wide. The other one, Matisse, who ran third, was so strong through the line, had quicker splits than the winner. And that's what you want to see, I think, leading into a Group 1 final for these 2-year-olds. You want strength through the line. You can often be caught out by horses who go to the front and lead at a good tempo. And although they might win impressively, they're just paddling a touch late. And if the splits say it didn't go too quick, I don't think they're the ones you want to be with. You know that they go fast in these races. You want horses who are strong late. What are they? $17, both of these, Kuro Yanagi and Matisse, $5 a place. It's a testament to how hot the field is. But, I've got to be all over them each way. A lot of respect at the top of the market. Obviously, Coleman, Bodyguard was a great win. High Octane, I think, has been disrespected a bit. It was super unlucky, as we know. You never really got a clear guide there. And $7, probably a good price to find out if it can bounce back. And these are another one, too, super special, $9. This is a great race, but I'm going to go with those two at $17, Dino.
It's fascinating, and we see so much in 2-yard races out of sight, out of mind sort of set up here. Like Coleman obviously beat Anisa first up, looked impressive, albeit Anisa was sort of taken back, ridden quiet and asked to run on. One's $4.50 favourite, Anisa's $9. Like, just don't think there's that much between them. And then you look the same setup with Bodyguard and Stay Focused. Bodyguard gets the slip on Stay Focused, who's 3 wide in the prelude. Stay Focused does a tough run second. Now Bodyguard's $5 and Stay Focused $13. Interesting stat out of the boys. I think one of the last 13 years, male has gone on to win the prelude, then to win the Blue Diamond. That was written by. So maybe it's not the grace to lead up to win that race. I think the market has it pretty wrong at the moment. I think the bet in the race is Lady of Camelot, who ran the hands off the clock up here in Sydney. That has to be a strong form. And High Octane. I know we didn't see him last start. I thought he's really good first start. He just screams to me, going, a horse with a high-pressure race, he'll be the strongest late. So I'd be happy to go with them too, but it is a proper Blue Diamond. Like, you got Spywire, Fearless, others that you could definitely make a case, but Lady of Camelot and High Octane for me.
Yep, love it, Dana. I'm with Lady of Camelot for many of the reasons you said before. You can really draw a line through Lady of Camelot through Extreme Diva, who basically followed Lady of Camelot the entire race, and Lady of Camelot absolutely spanked it, beat it 3.5. Then Extreme Diva's come out, and I think was about 1.5 off Switzerland, who's meant to be like the boom horse, second favourite, the Golden Slipper. Just franks that form for me. And therefore, it's a Sydney form. Sydney form always stacks up down there this time of year, any time of year, to be frank. And I think Lady Camelot is the bet there, lads. You know what you're going to get. You're going to be up there on speed and out of trouble. And this is a big ride for Hippo, I believe. So he'll have a point to prove. aboard this horse, and then if this horse wins, off to the slipper, and he might be waving goodbye to J Mac and Ryan Ward.
That'd be some story, huh?
That'd be some sort of narrative, and that's what
I think barriers will make a big impact in this race. Well, I think what we probably summated there is that a lot of these horses, there's not much between them this far out. So I think barriers runs in transit, the way the track's going to play is going to be huge. Like you look at Spywire, who's meant to line up, like he ties in. He's pretty good in the 2-year-old Magic Millions. I reckon it's a great race.
It's a great race. Dino, speaking of great races, well, the Futurity would have been, except Pride of Jenny won't be turning up. Mr. Brightside, ridiculously short now, like $1.50 odd. Buffalo River Attrition, Dom to Shoot. Like, I just don't want to hear that horse's name after what I did to Zaki. Fair dinkum. Like, why you just come back to haunt me? Bustler, Munamek, Nugget. Can any of these get within 2 lengths of Mr. Brightside, Dino?
I think the only possible issue with Brightside is flatness off that gut buster first up run. Like he had to really dig deep. I remember the stable saying that he definitely felt the run, and they put him there sort of off the back of 2 trials which he needed him. So that's my only concern. But if you look at it on paper, he just wins the race. So I couldn't make a case for anything else. Could I take $1.50? Lewie? Probably not.
No, I agree. The thing with that concern is, though, and it's definite, the small field with now not seemingly a lot of pressure, it probably takes that worriness of the second up flat away. Like if it was stepping into another high pressure event with loads of talent who can get close, then you start to go, but it's lobbing up in a pretty low futurity. But speaking of Dom to Shoot, didn't mind a place bet on it. It's got a good fresh record. Second in a Group 2 lease steer last preparation, then third in a Group 1 railway. I don't care what it did to any other horse. It may not be a bad place. I think you got to start looking at place bets, right? Because you're probably getting more than $1.50 for something to place here rather than $1.50 for Brightside to win. I don't know.
That's great. Yeah, like, you're getting like $2 a lot of these horses to place, and that's a really good play, Lou. So give us a place tip, both of you.
Ooh, I'd go. Oh, that's a great question. I'd probably go similar to you, Dom to Shoot.
Yep, I'll take Buffalo River. And away we go. Right, Oakley Plate, King's Gambit, $3.50, Asphora, $4.50, Sharippa, $6, Benedetta, $9, Af's Cabin, $11. Dino, your thoughts on the Oakley Plate?
I feel like you've got to be a jet of a 3-year-old to win a Group 1 against the older horses. I can't understand how King's Gambit's favourite for this race. I want to pop all these 3-year-olds. I think there's nothing between. I don't think they're special at all. We saw Cylinder and I Am Stoppable, who obviously had a slight issue, run pretty poorly against older horses there on the weekend in the Lightning. So I know probably the weight-wise, etc., gets in really well, but I think Asafora is the bet in this race. I thought she was terrific first up, off a fast tempo to the 600 metres and just sort of got carved up, in my opinion. I think if the winner doesn't come out, Carlos, and run over the top, she wins that race. SB profile, 1,100 metres, etc., I think Asafora is the bet in the Oakley Plate. Louis?
Yeah, I agree with Asafora. I've got a soft spot for her. However, look, the price is no good, but King's Gambit, I am going to take the opposite way and say that he can definitely win this race. It's a huge crack of thunder goes on. 50 kilos. So on the absolute minimum with the low rating. Clearly had perhaps an issue leading into the spring. Had the one trial down the track tipped out. You guys might know more than that than I don't really know. 2 trials this preparation. They have been special. Very, very sharp. Latest was against the Everest winner. It's much of a muchness, but you wouldn't be off, your kilter saying that it was perhaps a better trial than think about it. I think King's Gambit looks like it's flying, and it's just that low weight. If it snags a good alley, again, the price at $3.50 at the moment is a no. But on the day, you maybe can get better, and I think it could be a big bet. I think King's Gambit is going very, very well.
Love it. Yeah, King's Gambit for me. I was against Asafora if it did last start. I know Dino likes it. I'm against it, so we'll go head to head. I think King's Gambit is really well weighted and, well, could come back bigger, better, stronger. If it does, I don't think they'll get near it. Hey, lads, let's go to the Silver Slipper. We'll head up to Sydney, and we've probably had 40 mils of rain in the last 2 hours here. It is a Monday, but the fair chance we might be on a soft 5, soft 6 at some stage early or late in the week and see how the weather dries out. But the Silver Slipper, well, let me just bring up the market here. Espionage 250, Straight Charge 280. Looks like the Waterhouse Sport team have a stranglehold on yet another race. Castagna, a big price, $8. Erno's Cube, $8. Embassy 11s, and longer the rest. Dino, why don't you kick us off for the Silver Slipper?
I think it's a 2-horse race between the two golf and duo. I love Straight Charge in the sense of when she was going to Queensland, I was tipping her up to beat Stormboy in the Magic Millions tier. Probably a good thing that she didn't go, or it didn't go there, because Stormboy absolutely towed him up. One trial compared to two trials for Espionage. I think Espionage is probably the better horse. I really like this profile. Breeders' Plate winner, sits off the speed. Loved trials, like I mentioned. I think it's probably the better horse. Do you want to take the price? I think you can wait to race day and figure out the barriers. I think the one that's over the odds is probably Celerity, who probably didn't get the kindest run in transit for Godolphin on debut. I think a jockey switched to probably a jockey. I know Timmy Clark Rowe, but she's a horse that gets off the speed, Lewie. So I think a jockey that's probably more accustomed to that would be a positive change. So no real bet for me far out, but I thought Celerity is one that was maybe over the odds.
Yep,
I'm saying as you, Dino. I struggled to find something in this race. I think it's a great race, but I just couldn't land on something strongly. If you had to throw one up, I've always had time for Erno's Cube, and perhaps it to place is not a bad bet. It's going to have the residual fitness from that 2-year-old campaign, Magic Millions wise. Go back 2 runs. It was second to Straight Charge, and by a good margin. But Straight Charge led a pretty slow tempo, and Erno's Cube sat last and had to try and make up that ground, which it was never going to be able to do. I think a faster tempo on Saturday would suit, and the trial it's had since that Magic Millions run, I thought it was good, and it looks like they're trying to get it to sit closer in run, which I think is a positive as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Erno's Cube came out and ran a race. Is it going to be a genuine tip for the show? Probably not.
Love it, lads. Found it hard. You got those 2 horses up on top that have got to come back and do it. And you got Castagna there, $8. So if to force my hand, Castagna at the $8. What we will know is we'll learn a lot more from this race. We'll see how these form lines stack up. We'll see how the Switzerland form line stacks up with Castagna, who came out and won. Be really, really interesting. So we will learn a lot from this, and that's really important moving forward. Probably more important than the Blue Diamond in regards to a slipper, being the Silver Slipper. Right, best all-in play of the weekend, Lewie. Kick us off.
Yep, I'm going to say King's Gambit. King's Gambit on the day. If you want to take a price now for an all-in show, the each-way bets on Curry, Yanagi, and Matisse in the Blue Diamond. But come the day, I think King's Gambit will be the bet. But really keen to get involved in all that. Just quickly with that Silver Slipper, don't. And I know, it's probably obvious. It's a Silver Slipper should be a good one for the Golden Slipper. It is. 4 of the last, I think, 8 winners or 7 winners have come through it, but not for a few years. So it's kind of slipped off the radar the last few years. But don't forget, this has been a real stepping stone for a few. You go back and look at She Will Reign, Esther Jarb, and Farn, and all came through it. So, don't forget that Silver Slipper.
Love that. Dino?
Yeah. Terrific race, and we're at Rosehill too. Remember, punters, that 1100-metre start, tight turning. My best all-in play, I'm going to take Lewie on. I'm going to go Asapora in the Oakley play. I think it's a hard weekend in the sense of value. Love the Blue Diamond, but there's a couple I want to back. So my best all-in play, Gano, is Asapora in the Oakley plate.
Yeah, found it near impossible to find a best, but Lady Camelot will be it. I just think brings the strongest form lines, fastest horse, and it'll be Catch Me if you can back at Caulfield. I assume on a dry deck, a Rail True. I think might have a little bit of favours there. What do we got in regards to midweek plays there, fellas? I got one at Wyong Tuesday, race 3, number 4, Tom Cruising. This horse goes from a Class 1 back to a maiden grade at the mile, and pretty moderate opposition. It was pretty good last start. Granted, it was a narrower Class 1 set weights, but I think this is a very winnable race for this horse for Kerry Parker, and around a $5 mark. Good bet, Dino.
Yep, I like that. I thought the favourite in that race was probably up against it. I know it's a better horse, but it's going to get back to last. Your horse will be up on speed, running along. Mine comes up on Wednesday at Sandown. Sandown race 2, number 3, lost. Should have won first up. Complete boat race. Any little bit of tempo, slightest bit of tempo, it wins that race. I think it will be winning second up from gate 3, Lewie.
Yep, I will go Sandown race 4, number 4, Ostmar. No odds yet to Godolphin runner. Was good last start running second. They've got Mark Zara to ride from barrier 8, so that's the one I'm keen to be with. Hey, gents, by the way, congratulations to both of you. We made it through the entire podcast and no one mentioned Jimmy Star. I'm so proud of you.
What have you done?
Unreal. Because if I had to hear people talk about that horse one more time, my head was going to explode.
Well, Lewie, we did it for you, and full credit to you, Dino, for not bringing it up. Hey, lads, good fun. Make sure you go to thegotipOff.com, search me again, and if you want my stuff, you can go to Sky Racing pretty much every hour of the day, and you'll see Lewie's head. Morning line, Lou?
Yes. Yep, that's it.
The morning line in the mornings, naturally. And Dean Watling, deanwatling.com.
Yes, naturally.
Every other publication in Australia. Righto, it's been an absolute barrel of laughs, good fun. Let us know who you think's going to win the Blue Diamond. Dino, there's a bloke on there that tipped the winner. He might need a hat. He might need a .com hat or something like that. And Louis about to...
Louis hungry.
Sounds like he's hungry. A little bit going on there, son. Hey, before we go, what did Robbo say about your chooks? Obviously, you're up there in the inner sanctum amongst all the boys, and what were your thoughts? Tupu couldn't catch a cold in the first 5 minutes of the game, but geez, you love him.
Yeah, of course I do. He's one of the best finishers NRL era. I've told you that. Look, if the Roosters were a horse, we were a Group 1 horse going into the trial, but we never trial any well. We save it for the back end of the preparation when the big Group 1s come around. I'll tell you that. I wouldn't back us first up either.
I'll tell you what, we're like a Todd Magnia slipping the stable hand a bit of cash, aren't we?
Yeah. We were not very impressive against a Manly side that had absolutely zero first grade units, I'll tell you. But it was a great weekend. I actually didn't see much of the footy, if I'm being honest.
There you go.
There's no prize money at the trials, is there, Lou?
No, there's $100,000 on offer for that pre-season challenge, Dino. Don't sneeze at the pre-season challenge.
Yes, a bit of $100,000 sombrero sort of action. Righto, that'll do. Until next week, lads. It's been a ball. Cheers.